Today, I'm going to show you how to create these Valentine's Day cards that look like they're straight from the Wizarding World. The things we'll need to create our Wizarding World Valentines is a paper cutter or scissors or both. We're going to use some different decorative edge scissors. I'm going to be using some hot glue guns filled with hot sealing wax as well as regular colored hot glue, but you could also use the standard sealing wax as well. We are going to use some wax seal stamps. I'm going to be using some markers that match the edge of my Valentines, as well as some A2 envelopes, which are 4.37 inches by 5.75 inches. Those will match the size of the cards that I put in the file. Then you might want some embellishments like mica powder, feathers, anything you might like. And finally, we will need our Valentines printed on cardstock, and the link for this is in the description down below. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is take our paper cutter or scissors, and we are going to cut or rough cut out our Valentines. So now that I have rough cut these out, we can then decide what we're going to do with the edges of some of these. So as you can see, I cut most of these out regular, and then I ended up cutting these two out with some of my decorative edge scissors, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. So I rough cut this, so then that way I could actually use this edge to help guide me while I'm cutting this out. And then we have our Valentine with its pretty scalloped edge that just kind of gives it more of a vintage vibe. And this print and this print are actually pieces of art from the 1920s that are public domain at this point, but I just love them. I think they're beautiful, so I went ahead and added some of the Valentine's Day sentiments to them. But yeah, I think that the little edging on here gives a really great touch, but it doesn't have to happen for all the cards. Now, especially on the square edge ones, I highly recommend that you use a matching marker to do like we do on our potion labels and just give it more of a finished look. Again, this is completely optional, but I just think it kind of helps finish it off and make it look more complete. Just like that. So then that way it's a nice complete look all the way around the Valentine. So once we have gone around all of our cards and made them complete, then we can flip them over, fill them out, and then once you have them ready, all you have to do is take whichever envelope you decide to go with. Now you could fill this with some glitter, anything like that to kind of add some confetti to add a little bit of extra magic. Now you can either actually close this, but I'm going to do it with just the sealing stamp today. And this was a back card, so I'm actually going to do the red wax hot seal here. And I actually have a bat seal here we're going to do. And look at this cute little bat. Now, anytime you do a wax seal like this, you can then take a marker and go over the raised parts and it will change the color. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that on this. And I think I might just do that with black on this one. So we're going to take our marker. And I'm using the broad tip so that I can just kind of brush over the raised areas. And on this one, I think I might just do the bat, which I think leaves a really cute look to this wax seal. And I actually decided to go around the little circle design with some gold marker as well. And just to show you all the different cards, we have the cauldron that says, I put a spell on you. We have the Have an Enchanting Valentine's Day vintage print. We have the I Love Hanging Out With You bat with the little love potion. We have a Skelegro bottle that says, I feel it in my bones, you're my Valentine. We have I'll Always Love You. And a baby Niffler with You Stole My Heart. Another vintage print that says, I love you to the moon and back. And finally, the infamous poem that was read to Harry during Lockhart's idea of Valentine reading and passing out at Hogwarts. And it says, "His eyes are as green as a fresh pickled toad. His hair is as dark as a blackboard. I wish he was mine. He's really divine. The hero who conquered the Dark Lord." So I had to include that one since it is the only Valentine that's actually 100% talked about in Harry Potter. So for our Niffler Valentine, I wanted to add a little bit of embellishment to the inside of the envelope. So when you open it, it's got a little nice touch. And I thought that this shimmery gold paper would be the perfect thing. So all I did was cut it to the same width as the envelope, and then I just cut it down, so I was actually able to use a scrap piece that I had, which is really nice. And I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this. So it's going to be to wet this edge here like you would if you were going to send the envelope, and we stick our piece of paper in here, and then once we get it lined up with the bottom, you just press firmly to let that glue activate like it would if we were going to be sealing the envelope. And then once it's glued in place, and you could obviously use a glue stick too, then we can cut the excess gold off of the edge of the envelope here. And once we get the gold there, all we then need to do is hold it in place and fold it over like it wants to normally do. And then we're just going to crease this to make sure that that gold gets creased just the same as the regular envelope does. And if you have a bone folder, that's always a nice way to just make sure everything is really secured down. And then when we open it up, we have a lined envelope, which is perfect for our little Niffler. For the embellishment on our little owl card here, we are actually going to do a couple different techniques. So we're going to take a feather, and it can be any little kind of feather, a white one, brown one, anything like that would be fine. And we're going to place it here towards the bottom where we're going to put our sealing stamp. And before I put my sealing stamp on here, I have some mica powder, and this is a pearlescent mica powder, in my jar. And I'm going to take my stamp, and I'm going to press it in the powder, tap any excess off, and as you can see, I got a nice sheen of the mica powder on there. So now we will be able to take our sealing wax or hot glue, drip it on top of the feather, and then we're going to take our wax stamp that is loaded with the mica powder, and we're going to seal everything together. So not only did we add the element of a feather to this for our little owl post, but we gave our wax seal this beautiful shimmery sheen to it that just takes it to a whole nother level. So the first thing we're going to do is take our black string, and you could do any color cording, and I am just very lightly taping this down, and you can kind of fold an edge over just so it's easy to pull it off, but I just wanted to hold it in place. And then we are going to wrap our envelope a couple times, and we're just trying to add a little bit of interest, so you kind of want to go back and forth and all over the place, so then that way you're not just getting straight lines. And you always want it to kind of intersect near the center where we're going to have our wax seal. And then once you like where it's at, we can cut our string. And I'm going to kind of hold it in place a little bit. We're going to set this down. And then we're going to take our hot glue or sealing wax, whatever you've got. and just kind of drip it over the whole thing. And if it's a little messy, that's okay. And then I'm going to put my sealing stamp on here. Okay, and once it has cooled, we have our very cool wax stamp. Now, I can then peel up our little edge here. And then you can adjust the little strings on the sides however you would like to give the effect that you want. And we have a really fun design on our envelope then. I did a similar method for our Skelegro one where I just took the string this way and did our little stamp, and then I just took my broad tip marker and colored in the Deathly Hallows. So then on the other side we have a really cool just string design. Now obviously this particular envelope would not be able to go through the mail. It would have to go into another envelope before it gets sent, but this would be a great addition for like inside of a box as part of a gift. And once you get all of your cards filled out and all of our envelopes embellished, there you have it, our Wizarding World Valentines. I wanted to create these for you guys because I feel like there's a huge lack of Valentines that are not overly sickly sweet and work for any witch or wizard. And honestly, I just feel like the ones that are out for Harry Potter are really corny or really bad. I thought this would be a fun way to have a Wizarding World vibe to your Valentines that I thought would be super fun for anybody to hand out, whether they are a kid or all the way up to an adult. I feel like these cards would be fun to hand out to your loved ones. So if you guys like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks so much.